Not many farmers get to design their own farm from a clean slate. Roads, fence lines, dams, drainage lines and pivots. But that was the case for Andrew Colvin when he started developing his property at Blackwood Creek, 50 kilometres southwest of Launceston. Andrew focuses on valuable grass seed crops and prime lambs on the 800 hectare property, turning off 13,000 head a year. While Andrew took out many trees as he developed his farm, over the last 40 years, he's invested in trees in strategic places for specific purposes, and he's convinced they've helped underpin his farm's productivity.
I came here in 1981, and at that stage it was basically a bare property, no capital improvements, not much fencing, scattered trees. We had to put in obviously a lot of infrastructure, and it required removal of a lot of trees. So over a period of about 5 years, most of the scattered trees on the property were removed. We've gone into quite large scale plantings of trees. We've collected a lot of seed from around the area, so we're putting the providence back in. And it's working very well. We've got some woodlots, but the majority of our plantings now are mixed species.
Andrew's early ambition was to provide shelter for lambing ewes, the investment paying off in spades now given the value of stock. But he's also observed other values the trees deliver.
My requirements for growing trees are different from some people because the woodlot is not the primary reason I grow trees. I want shelter for livestock, particularly in the exposed pivot circles for lambing ewes. And I have to admit to being a bit of a conservationist, and I want to provide habitat for wildlife. And we've linked some of our remaining areas of native bush with corridors around the pivot circles. And whilst it mightn't seem obvious, but I actually like the aesthetics of having trees on the farm.
Andrew says estimating the monetary value of trees for the balance sheet is a challenge. But with around 4 decades of experience, he's convinced they're a farm asset and would do it again.
I'm very happy to put them in once and get the economic benefit from increased stocking rates, things like that. It's hard to put a dollar sign on it, but my observation of how livestock move in cold weather and things is that there are great benefits from doing it. It's absolutely critical to do it properly, start early, do a bit of research into what species grow well in your district. And I stress this a lot to people that ask me about trees. The more work you put in ground preparation, spraying it off in advance, ripping it in advance in the summertime, creating a seed bed, the better the result and the quicker they will grow.
Andrew acknowledges that at times it was a financial struggle, developing the farm and planting trees at the same time.
You know, it was pretty tough at the end of the wool boom. Nobody had any money and we were trying to develop and put in irrigation. But I put my trees in at the same time as I was putting in the irrigation because I could see that there was going to be a benefit. At one stage we were putting in 10,000 trees a year, just in corners around circles. And you think at the time, oh, it's a struggle to do it. But you get the benefit virtually from about year 1 on. So try to do it at the same time is my advice.
Andrew's optimistic that emerging markets will help substantiate his financial investment in trees. But it's now a balancing act that the next generation of Tasmanian farmers assume.
I've just handed over the management of the property to our son, and he's very comfortable with the trees we've put in. Scott's probably more economically driven than I have been. The bottom line's particularly important, but that happens with most people that are in their 30s, that they're driving the business. So everything is worked out to the last cent, which is great, but at the same time, he's very happy to plant trees.